All righty. Well, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening or good morning, wherever it is you are dialed into from the world. And it's one of the fascinating things I've learned since starting my trading group with Trading View, which has been an incredible honor. Um, is that literally the markets trade 24 hours a day. Now, I always knew that, but it was an amazing thing to actually start having people who do trade 24 hours per day. So welcome everybody. Looks like we got a good number of people on the live stream here on TradingView. We're also simulcasting to YouTube, to my YouTube page over there, which is still in its infancy. So I'm excited. This has been a good year as far as trading goes, no matter who's in the White House, no matter what pandemic is going on, no matter what kind of civil or political unrest, or whether the markets are going up or the markets are going down. We have wonderful opportunities in the financial markets to make money, provided we have the right systems and the right psychology. And also, of course, the reason we're here for the right plan. All right. Now, the reason you need a plan, I hope we all know that we need a plan. And obviously, that's why we're here today. So let's go ahead and get started. So why create a trading plan? All right. Now this is interactive too, so feel free to ask any questions you want in the chat room, and hopefully we'll be touching on everything that we need to today. And if we don't, we'll just stay as long as we need to. All right. Now I'm sure you've heard the phrase, which has been made famous by Benjamin Franklin: "If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail." And I think one of the reasons that so many people fail in trading is they just jump in, and they throw money into an account, whether it's something as simple as a Robinhood account, or E-Trade, and they just decide to start following some celebrity or some YouTuber, and they just think they're just going to make money. Which, back in the 80s, it might have been okay because for 20 years we were in a bull market. So yeah, back in the 80s, you can throw your money into the market for 20 years and you made money. But that's not how it happens today. We are in a supply and demand environment. We are in a buy and sell environment. We have to find areas to buy at wholesale and sell at retail, just like other retail establishments do, which is how the big institutions do and how they move price. So we need a plan, and it's no different than a plan to open up a restaurant, or no different plan than to start your own business. In fact, before I was a trader, I was a web designer, and I had to put together a plan. I said, okay, I need to have so many clients per month, 2 to 3, to replace my immediate income. But I would also like to have 80 clients under my belt for the passive income, where I can not have to work, where basically that's paying the bills, paying the mortgage, and all that. And if I do X amount of clients per month in 36 months, I basically have a really nice passive income. And so I had to then put it down to monthly goals, and then weekly goals, and then daily goals. And so it's exactly why, you would open up a restaurant, exactly how you start your own business. Here, we're creating a trade plan, and we don't want to fail, and so we're planning what we need to do. To number one, as we see on the bullet points here, set realistic goals. You're not going to open up a trading account for $500 and replace your income in 6 weeks. All right. So we need to figure out what our real goals are, and that'll let us see the amount of capital that we are going to trade, the amount of time we are going to have or put into our trading system, the amount of progress we need to make if we're brand new in the markets versus, we do have some good experience. And it lets you track your progress. So every week you can see, A, did I do what I say what I was going to do? B, how did I do? And C, what do I need to do next week, next month, next year, whatever that is. Third, having a plan is accountability. If you're married, you'll share your plan with your spouse. Hey, honey, this is why I'm sitting in my office. Hey, honey, this is why I'm, just on the computer all night long. Hey, honey, we have these goals, and if I start slacking, you need to let me know. Or you could be part of a trading group, whether it's an online trading group like the one I run, or whether it's a meetup where you have traders that meet together periodically at a pub or a restaurant or whatever we do nowadays because of COVID. Or just a best friend, somebody else that's a professional, somebody else that has, they don't have to be traders, but just say, hey, Bill, I need you to check in with me every week to ask me how am I doing, and don't just accept, hey, it was a great week. Make me show you my books. Make me show you my journal. Make me show you this. And creating a trade plan gives you that roadmap so that you know step by step what your milestones are, so you can have a realistic expectation. So if you start with $500, $5,000, $5 million, you can actually see this is where I am and this is where I want to go. And then these are the things that'll help me get there. And then that next bullet, helping you stay consistent. And that's the consistent behavior that'll help you get there. And it also gives you your edge, because every week that you trade, every week that you track, every week that you celebrate, you're sharpening that knife, you're sharpening that sword, you're making yourself into a better tool. You're getting harder and sharper, so that you can do what you need to do to get what you want to get. And I love that phrase. It's just a simple thing. Do what you need to do and get what you want to get. And we're going to celebrate those things too. And we don't want to wait until we have that $1 million in the account. Yay, and now I'm successful. We want to celebrate those things with realistic milestones. And so we'll get into that. So having a plan is one thing, but you also got to celebrate and not, wait for some, amorphous time in the future that you're going to, celebrate these things. And there's an interesting study, or supposedly there was an interesting study done 20 years, 50 years ago. And I heard this at a Tony Robbins event, probably in the late 90s or early 2000s. And it was supposedly the Harvard-Yale goal study that they said that they looked at like X number of people, like 300 people that graduated from Yale or Harvard. And they asked them, how many of you actually have written goals? Like, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a successful, whatever, physicist or astronaut. And out of all the people that had written goals, it was only 3%. And only 3% of those people had their written goals. And those 3%, 20 years later, had a greater net worth than the other 90%. And so you got to write down your goals and look at your goals on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, to see how have I gone? How have I done? Do I need to change something in my behavior? Do I need to double down on something? Now, it turns out that someone actually looked that up. And I remember looking it up on the internet too, and I couldn't find it. But a couple of years ago, somebody actually did some serious research. They went to Yale, or they contacted Yale, they contacted Harvard, and they were like, we never did a study on that. That sounds pretty cool though. And so it was like an urban legend. I don't know who made this up. Nobody knows, but I heard it from Tony Robbins, so it must be true, right? I read it on the internet, so it must be true. Well, turns out that there was a study done at Dominican University. So of course, some little place just out of nowhere did a study, and they found truly that writing one's goals down significantly enhances the time and efficacy to reach your goals. So they discovered it was true. It wasn't Harvard, wasn't Yale 20 years ago. It was Dominican University pretty recently. And I love that quote from Alice in Wonderland, where she's in Wonderland, she's lost, and she comes up to the Cheshire Cat and she says, hey, which road do I take? And the cat says, well, where do you want to go? And she says, well, I don't know. And the cat says, well, then it doesn't matter what road you take. And so again, that goes back to people that jump into trading. I want to make money, and then no, but all right. So what? What's the end all be all there? It doesn't matter why it is you're learning how to trade if you don't have some purpose in your life, or purpose in your plan, a purpose that'll get you up early, the purpose that'll keep you up late, the purpose that'll make you do what you want to do. All right. So these were the conclusions of that Dominican study, that there was the accountability factor, which I mentioned, weekly progress reports to a friend. It doesn't even have to be a trader friend. It just has to be to a friend that they feel accountable to, accomplish significantly more than those who didn't write their goals, or even formulated an action commitment. Like a goal might be, yeah, I want to make $1,000 a day, or I want to make a 6-figure income every year, or I want to double my trading account every 6 months. Unless they have an action plan on how to do that and send those commitments to a friend, it didn't happen. And then there was support for public commitment. Those who let their friends know, let their family know, hey, I'm going to be a trader. Hey, I'm going to do this. And one thing they don't discuss there, which I personally love, is also that negative reinforcement. not only did I have people say, wow, that's great. Anthony, you were successful in your web design business. You were successful as an IT person. You're successful in writing. I'm sure you'll do great as a trader. But then there was the naysayers. There was the ones that said, no one makes money trading. This is just a big Ponzi scheme. The game is rigged. It's like a gambling casino. You're going to throw your money away. You're an idiot. You're a fool. You're this, you're that. So publicly, people knew I was a trader, and they were giving me that negative comments, right? So I've actually got a poster. I wish I can show it to you. But you can just look for it on YouTube or search for the poster. Prove them wrong. All right. So not only do I have the positive motivation that I'm accountable to friends who are looking out for my vested interest, I also have that negative commitment where it's like, gosh darn it, I'm going to prove these guys wrong. Because there's people that make money trading, and I might not know how to do it yet, but I know there's people out there that do, and I'm just going to suck their brain dry. I'm going to join their trading group. I'm going to read their books. I'm going to do what they do so I can get what they got. And that's that. I actually have that sign. I look at it every morning. Prove them wrong. Now I've already proven them wrong, and they don't say anything to me anymore. They don't tell me, oh, it's just a big gambling scheme. Oh, it's just because they have nothing to say. They don't say anything good, but at least today, they don't say anything bad. All right. So that was a very powerful enforcement for me to stay up late to do what I needed to do. And then thirdly, yes, writing their goals down. So I hope you have a journal, whether it's a Moleskine notebook or a spiral notebook or one of those marble composition notebooks that we had in grammar school. Whatever you do, we're going to be doing some writing down here today. Now, we're very concerned about the business of trading because it's our personal business. This is the business of your money. So just as much as you would sink $100,000 into opening up a restaurant, or you'd sink $250,000 into opening up a franchise like a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A or a Jiffy Lube, you're sinking your personal capital in here. All right. So that goes back to don't plan to fail by failing to plan. All right. So if you're not making money as a trader or as a franchise owner or as a restaurateur or as a writer, you're not, if you're treating it as a hobby, it'll pay you hobby money. But if you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like no other business out there. And that's what we know as traders, that we don't have an inventory. We don't need employees. We don't need to do marketing. We don't, need to be accountable to anybody except ourselves. And if I don't do what I need to do, I'm not going to get what I want to get. And it's just going to be a hobby. None of the hobbies I've ever had in my life paid me money. I have woodworking, I've got stoneworking, movies, I've got a home theater, a nice home cinema, love movies, that's a hobby, but none of these hobbies make me money. But the things I treated like a business, my web design business, my consulting business, and now my trading business, when you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. And there's a lot of great business advantages to trading that is just not available in the regular world because we don't have all those overhead. And especially in COVID, not having to have customers, not having to worry about that kind of stuff, that the regular world has to worry about, we are in a really good place. And I wish we can just shout from the rooftops, everyone needs to learn how to trade, because I think everybody does, but they don't, and there's those who do. No, what's that phrase? There's those who make things happen, and that's us. That's why we're here today. We're going to make things happen. There's those that watch things happen, and they're like, "Oh, that's good for you, but not for me. I'm not a trader. I'm not that smart. I can't. I'm nah." And then there's those who say, "What happened?" So we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do properly to treat this like a business. Reza, good question. And let's go ahead and leave that at the end there, because trading specific questions, we're not going to be, that's not the topic of today's conversation, but we're happy to spend some time afterwards as well. All right. So the success cycle, if you've been in business, you might have seen this where initially we need to have a plan, so then we can put things on our schedule so we can then execute it, because a plan that doesn't get executed doesn't get done. And so if your plan says, I need to read a book, I need to watch a video, I need to take a class, I need to join a trading group, you need to put that on the calendar. Like tomorrow, I'm going to sign up for that trading group. Wednesday, I'll be at the mall. I'm going to buy these 3 trading books. I'm going to have my account set up and money transferred over to my Forex account. So on Thursday, I'm going to start back testing a strategy. Risking 10 cents to make 30 cents. I'm not going to put any real money on the line, but I want to start doing what I need to do, so you can execute. All right. Then you track. All right. So then you track your progress, track to see what you did, and you analyze it. You see, how did I do? Did I do something right? Did I do something wrong? What can I do to make it better? What behaviors or strategies or things do I need to get rid of? And that lets you then improve. And that's the whole goal of tracking and planning and executing and analyzing, is so we can improve. As Stephen Covey said in his book about highly successful people, is sharpen the saw. And so every day you don't just do, because it's like sharp. It's like just sawing that wood away, and you could be, whittling that thing down, and the saw is no good. It's worn down. You got to take some time and sharpen that saw so you can do less work and get more results. And that's the success cycle. So every day I need to go back and look at my trades. Every week I need to see how I did every day. Every month I need to see how I did in those last 30 days. Every quarter, am I sticking to my goals? Am I sticking to my plans? Am I doing what I need to do? All right. And this is part of the trade plan. So just like every other endeavor, if you're new to trading, for instance, in the chat group, if you're new to trading, if you're fairly new, or if you've been in it a while, just say, how long have you been in here trading? I'm just curious how much experience we have on the group here, because this is great for people who've never traded before. They're brand new to the world of trading. And great, you haven't screwed up yet. You haven't made any major mistakes or blown an account or 2 accounts or 3 accounts. 2 years. Okay, great. So 2 years. So get a little mechanical experience under your belt. 1 year. I myself, 7 years. I started in 2013. Wow. So it's going on 8 years. And 7 months. Excellent. Thank you very much, Missy. So we want to take wherever we are. We got to analyze where we are and then figure out where we want to go. And just like any other job, as a web developer, I didn't make a full-time income as a web developer overnight. It took me about 6 months to, get really good at my craft. And then another 6 months to get to the point where now I'm making regular income. And trading's the same way. There's no secret switch. There's no secret indicator. There's no red light, green light system. There's no mentor, myself included, who can help anybody instantly become a successful trader. We got to build up that muscle. And I wish I could. I got family members and loved ones who are just throwing money this way, throwing money that way. They throw money into Bitcoin. They're throwing money into Robinhood. And I'm like, oh, come on, and then they wonder why they lose money. But what I did is I realized I need to find somebody who actually is a professional trader and then model. Because I'm sure you've heard the 10,000 hour rule, where they say it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something. And well, if you find somebody who's doing the right thing, just latch onto them. Do exactly what they do. So the Ralph Macchio and the Karate Kid, he was latched to Mr. Miyagi. And I found myself 2 or 3 mentors over the course of the early years of my trading career. And I just said, I'm just going to do exactly what these people do. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to modify it. I'm not going to get fancy with it. I'm going to see what they do. So mechanically, I'm just going through the motions, just like wax on, wax off. I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm doing what they're doing. And then eventually one day, almost like if you ever held a dry sponge under the water, and it's just a dry sponge and it's just taking some time, then all of a sudden that just sucks up the water. That's kind of how it happened for me. In the beginning, I was treating trading as a hobby, and I was learning a little here, learning a little there, dabbling a little bit here, taking a month off, dabbling a little here, taking a week off. And I wasn't really that sucking up the water. And then finally something clicked in my head and I did what I need to do. And all of a sudden, the sponge just got wet. And then all of a sudden I started soaking up more and soaking up more and soaking up more. So getting a coach, number one, in this graphic here, how to cheat the rule, how to not have to do it in 10,000 hours, but maybe knock it off in a year or two. So again, it's not going to be instant success. This does take work, but the more work you put into it, the more you learn, the quicker you learn. So learning is not linear. learning is exponential. Somebody is saying that the stream is offline. I just flipped my slides, and it's looking fine to me. I'm seeing the stream working fine in both TradingView and on YouTube. So Nick, you might have, let me just go ahead and respond to Nick. Try starting your browser. Looks good here. Cool. Excellent. Thank you, Mendez. Yeah. So, yeah, and that's one of the things too. That was one of the reasons I didn't do video, because I know a lot of people like putting their face up on the video. I don't care. It's not like a ego thing, but I'm worried about bandwidth. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm actually doing like 3 streams. I'm streaming out to everybody, and I'm streaming in on TradingView, streaming in on YouTube, just to make sure that I have the chat rooms and all of that. Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Nick. All right, so you're back online. But that's how you accelerate anything. And I learned that with Tony Robbins years and years and years ago. I used to coach with Tony Robbins. I was a model student, and then I became part of the coaching team. But modeling is the way you accelerate success. Do what successful people do, and then you can get what successful people got, whether you want to be a successful author, a successful weight loss, like lose 60 pounds, you know, whatever it is. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. So all those people I was looking at proving wrong. So bullet point number 2, I had to get away from them. You know, I had to find motivated people. And that's why having a trading community like us here on TradingView, like the group that I was with my mentor, like the group I'm creating now, we need to surround ourselves with like-minded individuals. I did that with my web design business. I was like, man, I got to hang out with other web developers, because, you know, sitting at home alone building websites, it's lonely. And same thing with trading. It's lonely. It can be lonely. So that's why you need to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Number 3 is building up those habits. And that's what part of today's lesson is going to be about, is seeing what we need to do every single day, every single week, every single month. And number 4, too, whittling away that's, you know, the small stuff. There's the phrase that the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, that only 20% of what you do, it gives you 80% of your results. And you don't have to be perfect. You know, perfect is the enemy of the good. And so, you know, 80% of what we have to do as traders is just focusing on making money. And that 20% of that effort is what gives us 80% of our income. But then I get caught up in other things. I get caught up in Facebook, or I get caught up on YouTube, on good stuff, still trading stuff. It could be trading related, but it's not actual trading. It's trading. It's that difference between activity versus accomplishment. I could be busy all day long, but what did I accomplish? So that 4, don't waste time on the small stuff, is, yeah, it's good that you got to go look at it once in a while. But what's number 5? Deliberation. Deliberately practice, deliberately do what you need to do to move forward, to move that bar just one step ahead. If you saw the movie Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, he was the football coach, and he talks about football like life, or life like football is a game of inches. And you got to fight for that inch. You got to die for that inch. You got to, you know, dig your nails into the ground and claw your way inch by inch by inch. And sometimes trading feels like that. Like, why am I hitting this wall? Why is this not working? Why do I have, you know, a negative return? Like I'm not making more money than I'm losing. You know, why don't I have a positive win rate? And the thing I love too, and that's why my entire life, step number 6, teach others. I did this in corporate America, where I would teach people, you know, our new point of sale system, or our new email system, or our new, you know, whatever it might be. And by teaching, you become better yourself. And I can't tell you, I got to thank my lucky stars, thank the Lord, just thank, you know, anything, whatever, everything that needed to come together for my trading buddy, Ken. And I don't know if he's online right now, but the time I spent with him teaching what I know, just not only did it help him become a profitable trader, because he was struggling in one area of his trading life, it made me that much better. And he's like, man, I hate, you know, I'm taking up your time. I hate that, you know, I feel like I'm a drag on you. And I'm like, no, Ken, this is incredible value for me. It's making me accountable. And number 7, Ken, if I fall off track, I want you to kick my butt, just like I'm going to kick your butt. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You know better. I told you last week. And then likewise, I give him permission to kick my butt if I fall off track. And so that just helps you knock out your 10,000 hours, maybe in 3,000 hours or even 2,000 hours. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think that's part of that 10,000 hour rule. In fact, a friend of mine, he's got this son. He's 16 years old and he's like tall as a beanstalk. And he actually is really, really, really good at basketball. And so what did my friend do? He brought in, now I'm the worst person with sports. I don't even know what our Charlotte basketball team is, but he hired one of the number one guys on the Charlotte. I can't even say their name. I don't even know what our team name is. See, I don't waste time on the small stuff. Point 4. I don't care about sports. But my friend brought in the top guy here in Charlotte, professional NBA basketball player, to teach his son. And where his son was just struggling, he couldn't get X done. Boom, in like 5 or 6 lessons, his son is just rocking it now. So that's what we got to do: hang out with successful people, do what successful people do to get what successful people have got to get our goals. Now, the big why, you've probably heard that 90% of trading is emotions or psychology. We do the wrong things because of psychology, whether it's fear. We go after the wrong things because of greed. And so earlier when I said, we're here to make money. No, why are you trading? Well, I want to make 6 figures a month. No, it's not about the money. What is that money going to do for you? Money is a vehicle, all right? Money is, we don't want to just a pile of coins sitting in a lockbox in our closet. We don't want a bunch of numbers in our checking account. We want what? We want freedom. We want things regarding our employment. Do I hate my job or do I love my job, but it's not paying me the bills? I want significance. I want to actually accomplish something. I know a guy who he started becoming a trader. He comes from money. He comes from wealth. This guy comes from family, intergenerational wealth here in the Carolinas. If I said his name, you definitely recognize it. And it's like, oh, so why are you becoming a trader? I was like, because I just want my family to appreciate me, to think that I can actually do something. Because I'm not just sitting here as a trust fund sucker, with millions and millions of dollars that I didn't earn, and just, being a lump on the couch. And so he wanted significance. It wasn't about the money. It was about, making his family proud of him. Family reasons. We trade because we want to spend more time with our family, or we want to acquire a family. Some people might not think they want to have kids yet because they can't afford kids. Well, number one, you'll never afford kids. Have all the kids you want, and the money will come. Because that'll give you in a place of desperation, right? People do think for inspiration, but more often they'll do things out of desperation. All right, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. Freedom, money freedom, time freedom, employment freedom. And then a passion or a calling. So for me, again, I love teaching. I taught in corporate America. I taught as an entrepreneur. I love teaching as trading because number one, it's making me a better trader. Number two, I know it's making a positive impact on the world. So it's just, even with our merry band of people over here. So we got to figure out, as part of our plan, a major part of our plan, this is what we call the why. Why are we trading? All right. And there's 2 things we're looking for as traders. We're looking to get things that we want, things we're moving toward, these toward values. And we also have things we're trying to get away from values. All right. So when you look at the toward values, you got things like, oh, I want to have a college fund. I want to get a jet ski. I want to get that beautiful house in the mountains or on the lake or on the ocean. I want to be debt free. I want to travel and live the mobile lifestyle. Or I'd love to get the Batmobile or the DeLorean, from Back to the Future, or, whatever. Enjoy your hobby, pay for those hobbies that you can't pay for right now. And so those are things that you want. And then the things you don't want, I'm tired of working for the man. I'm tired of, living paycheck to paycheck. I'm tired of this car that I can't replace or constantly breaks down, or I can't, consider reliable to take a trip to Florida. I'm tired of eating leftovers or TV dinners or fish sticks or ramen noodles. I'm tired of being alone because maybe as a guy, we can't provide for a woman. And so we need money so we can be a provider. For women, it's like significance in their social circles. I need to look like I'm actually a productive member of society and making me attractive. but also that stress of paying the bills, stress of just stress. And when you get rid of stress, when you get rid of the stress of not having money, it's like the number one cause of stress in our lives. They say the number one reason for divorce in marriages, for breaking up, is stress over money or disagreements about money. And so if you don't have to worry about money, then what are those different things that you're going to move towards or move against? And this is what Tony Robbins calls the pain pleasure principle, that everything we do in life is for one of two reasons: to avoid pain, like getting out of this terrible job I hate, or getting out of the stress of, wondering I'm going to run out of money in 6 months if I keep doing what I'm doing, or to gain pleasure. So the things, man, I'd love to get that bigger house. I'd love to, have that money for my kids for college. I'd love to take that trip to France for my wife's 60th birthday. Whatever those things might be. And one interesting thing is that we will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So it's one thing to have a picture of that beautiful house on your vision board. So every day you wake up and say, wow, I'm waking up so I can look at that beautiful house. It's another thing to put a picture of your boss. So go to your HR department's website, or go to your staff website and go get a picture of your boss and blow that thing up and say, man, if I wake up and I look at this guy's face when I'm shaving, I put a picture of him in the mirror, picture of her on the mirror. And it's like, I am going to do what I need to do to get out of this miserable situation. I'm going to do what I need to do to, so that negative motivation, like that I told you about, that prove them wrong sign that I've got in my poster that I've got in my office that I'm looking at right now. That negative motivation is powerful. Now I want the house, I want the jet ski. I have a jet ski. I have a nice house, but but those negatives, I want to prove them wrong. Man, what a motivator those are. And that goes with that pain pleasure principle. Can you guys agree? Do you guys, just go ahead and feel free to chat and, tell me, what's there something that you hate in your life you're trying to get away from? Why are we trading? And what are those things we want? Why are we trading? All right. So this is going to be the first exercise. So get your pencils out, or your pens, or your Evernote document, or your word processing document, or your tablet, or whatever it is you're going to be working on. This is our first exercise. All right. And what we want to do is we want to make 2 lists. And we want to have that positive list, that list of things we're looking for, the why. Why am I trading? And these are the wonderful things that I think trading is going to do for my life. I want to buy my wife a new car for her birthday. I can't wait for the day when I'm no longer bound to an employer. I look forward to retiring at 55. I want to travel, enjoy the world, see amazing sights. I want to go on a date night every week and not worry about how we're going to pay for it, or where we're going to get the time for it, or if we need to get a babysitter. All right. So things like that. And so what are you looking for as a trader? Why are we doing this? Why am I going to commit myself to my trading business and do all the things that we say we're going to do throughout the rest of this exercise? And then the negatives. So what are these things that are going to motivate us getting away from? I hate not being able to provide for my family as I would like. I hate these 50-hour weeks that I come home late, can't spend time with the kids, living paycheck to paycheck, can't spend time with my wife because we're living paycheck to paycheck. It sucks being strapped to a terrible employer without a raise, and I have time. I don't have the time to do what's important in my life, my friends, my family, recreation. I'm burning out. And what's becoming more real, I'm terrified of my medical expenses and elder care in my golden years. My wife, that's a calling of hers. She's in the elder care industry, and she helps people with dementia and Alzheimer's and those memory issues that we're going to have if we live long enough, and the sad state of affairs in finances where these people can't even afford $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month to live in these assisted living facilities, and their kids can't afford it because we're living paycheck to paycheck. We're gonna expire before we retire, and so those negative things. All right, so I'm going to start the timer. We're going to give ourselves 5 minutes. This is probably the longest of the exercises we have. And I want you to get emotional, dig deep, and figure out what are the nitty gritty things that are burning in my heart that I really want my trading business to do. And what are the things that are just burning in my brain that I can't wait to get rid of because of the limitations I currently have that I want trading to help me alleviate from. All right. So let's make sure. Someone else said they lost the stream, and nope, the stream looks good to me. So let's go ahead and I'll text him the reboot, but I'll start the timer and I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. Hope that was a great exercise for you guys. Hope you guys dug deep, guys and gals, dug deep into your heart as to why it is we are trading. In fact, one of the things I noted when I was going through this exercise just now, because this is for me too. I'm not just teaching you guys. It's time for me to do my 2021 plan. So this was a perfect opportunity. Just it's a group thing. This is like what I talked about earlier. Find an accountability group. Find a group of like-minded people. So I'm doing this whole thing right alongside you guys. One of the things I noted, and it's important when you have goals, is sometimes have goals, not sometimes, but include in your goals things that are outside of yourself, where we would often do a lot more for other people than we would ourselves. For instance, we might see our lawn, getting, long, our grass growing really long. Oh, I know I need to mow the grass. But then you know that there's a widow in your neighborhood who hasn't had her grass mowed. So you'd rather mow her lawn than yours, or, I know I need to do X, but I'm going to help somebody else do X. And we'd much rather do things, or we'd often do things more for other people. I know I need to make more money, we can say, but I'm comfortable, but man, I know it's really hurting my wife's stress levels because we don't have this money. I'm going to do this for her sake. So a lot of times we'll do things for others a lot more than ourselves. So when you create these goals and part of your why, think about that. Think about things outside yourselves. So one of my whys under the positive was to give like I've never given before, of my money and of my time and of my resources. Where, yeah, I loved going on mission trips so I can give people my time. I love giving money to missions and to charitable causes, to our local food pantry, to our local widows ministries and things like that. So HJ, yeah, absolutely. So that part of that motivation is doing it for others. So yeah, I just want to make sure that you guys try to include that in your plans as well. All right, great. So that was lesson number 1, or exercise number 1. So the next one, okay, now that we know why we're trading, what are we going to trade? All right. So if we're new to the markets, we might still be learning. When I first got started, I thought I was going to be a futures trader. And so I focused on futures, and then I discovered Forex, and I was going to be a full-time Forex trader. In fact, my license plate on my car says 4X, the number 4, the letter X, trader. So Forex trader. So I love, having a custom license plate. And then I looked at options for a little bit, and now I'm back to futures. All right. So I'm back to majority of futures with with a minor in Forex. So it's like college. I major in futures and minor in Forex. So one of the reasons we need to say, what am I going to trade, if we don't have a habit already of trading a particular market, is especially in our learning process to drill down and give a very good focus. Because once we learn how to trade one market, especially in a supply and demand environment. So the methodology that I teach in our Sabre trading group is supply and demand. There's lots of different trading methodologies out there. You're looking at indicators, you're looking at RSI, you're looking at Elliott wave, but supply and demand is universal across every market, because the financial market is just like every other market, whether it's the electronics market, the automobile market, things go up in price when there's a demand for it and a low supply, and things go down in price when there's a big, so anyway, once you learn how to trade one thing well, you can trade anything. But I had to focus on one thing. And so that accelerated my trading performance when, I was learning futures, I was learning Forex, I was learning options, I was learning how to manage a portfolio, I was learning how to use this technique, and I was going all over the place. You could be a master of, you could be mediocre at a bunch of things, or you could be excellent at one, maybe 2, maybe 3 things. So especially if you're in the learning stage, like if you don't currently have a winning strategy, like if you only get like a 1 out of 3 win rate, if you're not at like a 50% win rate with your trading system, you might need to step back a little bit and say, I'm going to focus on one thing. Like I'm going to here's the 3 quotes I have here. I'm going to trade the futures market on the 15-minute time frame based on context analysis on the 60-minute time frame using the Sabre trading methodology. Or I'm going to trade Forex on the 60-minute time frame based on context of the 240-minute time frame using supply and demand techniques taught in this book, Price Action Breakdown. Or man, I'm still, I got a system down. I'm just not good at it. I will learn and master this system that I've invested time and energy and resources into. And I'm just going to master the system until I have a consistent 50% win rate at least 3-to-1 over 100 trades. And so the articles I've written in the past on TradingView about backtesting is strictly about that. Like, you got to learn how to work the system, and then that's back testing. But then you got to see if you can work the system, and that's forward testing or live sim trading in a live environment. So you might have a system in your pocket that you're using, but you're just not consistent at it. Or you might be dabbling in a bunch of different systems, and you just gotta knuckle down and turn off all the noise and focus on one thing to get good, and then add a second one, and then add a third one. Because that's what really ramped up my trading performance. Is when I decided to turn off all the noise. I had like 5 or 6 different mentors, 3 or 4 different trading groups that I was a member of, and I traded this way, traded that way, traded the other way, and I wasn't going anywhere. I was not really making the difference between accomplishment versus activity. I was very active, man. I was working 10, 12 hours a day building up my trading experience, but I wasn't making any forward progress. So until I turned all that noise off and said, I'm going to do this one thing and I'm going to do it awesome. And what I ended up doing was creating my own trading system. So you can be good at one trading system. You can develop your own trading system if that's where you are, or you model and copy someone else's trading system, like price action breakdown, or if you currently have a mentor or whatnot. But over the next 3 months, because everything we do, we want to look on a quarterly kind of basis. What is it you're going to do? What markets are you going to trade? What time frame or time frames are you going to trade? And what system or systems are you going to trade on? So that's the next exercise that we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the music, and I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. All righty, good deal. Hope that helped you guys come into some focus, because that's the one thing that really helps us in trading, especially, is focus. And I think about a light. If you can get a flashlight, you can kind of illuminate an entire room to some degree, like say a 30-watt flashlight, but you get a 30-watt laser that focuses all that energy on one particular point. You'll burn through wood, you'll burn through steel. So it's that distribution of energy, a bunch of different things, versus focusing that energy, that same amount of energy, on one thing, that really helps out. Nick, do you think three trading strategies is too much to start with, or it's fine? Um, it's not, having three strategies isn't bad, but I would say learn how to master one at a time. That's a great question, because you might have one strategy on your short-term day trading or scalping. So you might have a scalping strategy, you might have a breakout strategy, you might have a swing trading strategy. That's why these examples I gave on this slide says in futures, I'll trade the 15-minute time frame, because that's me. I personally trade the 15-minute time frame in futures because I get great numbers that way. If I go lower than that, the charts sometimes get blocky, and I can actually get stopped out a lot. So by going up to the 15-minute time frame through my back testing, I back tested a month at the 1 minute time frame of all things, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 60-minute. And the 15-minute time frame gave me exactly what I needed with very good consistency. I probably one out of every 15, maybe one out of every 25 trades, I get stopped out by a tick. Like if the trade just doesn't fail totally, like it was just a bad trade, or the market's going to market's going to do what the market's going to do. But I had to figure that out by focusing and just plowing away at all these different time frames to find out what worked for me. And if I spread my time out, I maybe might not have figured that out. So once I mastered the futures on the 15-minute time frame, now that's my regular bread and butter. Now I'm testing that strategy on the Forex market for swing. All right. So, in fact, a lot of our students in the Sabre Trading Group, a lot of our members, I call them the crew. We trade like a pirate. So, the crew of the HMS Opportunity, our pirate ship, a lot of them are Forex traders, and they're predominantly trading the 6240. All right. So they're the ones doing swing trading, because Forex, you have the factor of the spread. And so if you go lower than 60 minutes, a lot of times you get stopped out because of the spread. And so the 60-minute time frame gives you a really good opportunity to not get stopped out when you didn't want to, but and not hit your target because of the spread. All right. So that's actually one of the things I learned by focusing on futures for about 3 to 5 months, just doing nothing but that, and then adding this on, and then adding this on. Because what you're doing then is you're going to take a system that works and carry it over to the second system. And when you get that working, then you can carry that over to the third system. So that's a great point. And because I have a strategy, different kinds of strategies, a breakout strategy, a channeling strategy, but you have to master. I think you should just master one at a time. Because I actually went crazy a little bit in the beginning, because I had like 5 different strategies for 5 different trading things, and it's like spinning plates. You ever see one of those pictures of a guy at a circus and he's spinning these plates? And that's how I felt. And that's part of that thing about, let me turn off all the channels that I've been listening to. Let me turn off all the trading groups that I've been a member of, and let me learn how to trade. And what I need to do is I need to learn how to do one thing well. And it's like a gunslinger. The gunslinger doesn't have, like in the Old West, doesn't have 30 different types of pistols. He has one pistol that he knows how to work very, very, very well. And people have asked me for a while, why don't you trade options? Why don't you trade Forex? I'm like, because futures gives me all the money I need. Futures pays the bills. And so, that's where now I'm expanding into Forex, and I'm actually going to be coming up with a strategy for long-term investing. So if you have a nice chunk of change, like $2 million or $4 million, you want to have that grow conservatively, I'm going to take my system and adapt it to long-term trading. But I had to learn how to do X right the first time before I expand onto those additional methodologies or additional strategies. So Nick, what if 2 are really long-term trading strategies? You only do 1 trade a month, but What if two are really long-term trading strategies and you only do one trade a month, but one trading strategy is more day trading? That's actually pretty good because, but what you want to do first is you're going to back test it. And that's the beautiful thing about back testing is you can look at years worth of data and in literally days. Because if you have a productive day trading strategy and you want to adapt it to that long-term trading, take that first successful strategy and just as long as you're good with it, see if you could adapt it to your longer term. You can do the same thing just on a bigger time frame. And so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at taking my 15-minute strategy, I'm adapting it to the 60. And once Forex is becoming having the same hit rate that I have in the futures market, then I'll adapt it to the daily candles and see if those techniques still work. So yeah, it's good. It's just you want to just focus on getting one thing really good instead of juggling those plates. And I don't know if there are three totally different strategies you're talking about, or one strategy just on three different time frames. But learn one strategy at a time, I think. And that's the method that I'm talking about is like, what if I tried writing a book and becoming an author while becoming a successful web developer, while becoming a successful trader? And that was actually a challenge I had early, maybe like 4 years ago. I was writing a book and managing all my customers and being a trader, and I wasn't doing a whole lot of good in any of them. And it wasn't until I decided, okay, I'm going to put my trading business, my web design business on hold, and I'm going to just not take on any new clients. I'm just going to maintain the clients I currently have. And I've got a great initial manuscript of my book, but I've got to get this trading thing down so I can spend the time writing the book, because the book's not making me money, right? So I can put that on the side and get this making me money trading, and then I can have the free time to write my book in the afternoons, because I'll trade in the mornings and I'll write in the afternoons. So good. Thumbs up there. Thank you very much. Awesome. Great question. Great question there, Nick. And feel free. Anyone else, you have some questions, feel free to chime in, and that's what we're here for. All right. Our next exercise, and this is very important. We think we're here to learn how to trade, right? We think we're going to learn this and that, and techniques and RSI and all this stuff. So our number one job as a trader is not how to make money, but how to protect our money. So this actually comes in handy at a party, because if you go to a party, and of course everyone wants to talk about, so what do you do for a living, right? And then they want to pick your brain. Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you're a CPA, and they want free advice. Oh, doctor, my back hurts. Oh, CPA, how can I save on my taxes? And like, come on, man, I'm here to enjoy the party, right? So when they say, if you go to a party and they say you're a trader, and you say you're a trader, they're gonna be, oh, what do you think of Bitcoin? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it's like, come on, I'm here to enjoy the party. I'm not here to talk shop. So if we say our number one job as a trader is to be a risk manager, I want to protect my money. So you go to a party and say, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a risk manager. They'll be like, oh, that's nice. And they'll walk away, right? So, but that's the thing. I mean, real trading is not glorious. It's not, what we see in the movies, like Wolf on Wall Street, jumping around and shouting hoorah. It's really just looking at the numbers and doing what we need to do, but we got to protect our money. And we got to, if we don't protect our money, what happens? You blow out an account. And I've had one of my students, he was actually one of my coaching students, saying he's lost multiple times, and blown out entire accounts. And he's lost over $150,000 over the last 5 years, because he didn't know how to manage his risk. All right. So the way I teach is that you'd never risk more than 1% of your account on any trade. So if you got $1,000 in your account, you're not going to put more than $10 on a trade. Now, it doesn't sound glamorous. Oh, I made $30. I risked 10 to make 30. I'm doing a 3-to-1 trading strategy. It's like, but what happens when you lose? What happens if you lose 3, 4, 5 times in a row? Well, I lost 3, 4, 5%. But if you put 10 or 15 or 20% on that trade, well, you just blew up your account. You lost 30%, you lost 50%, or you lost 100%. You're done. So we want to risk little to make a lot. All right, that's our goal. And so that's the big, for me personally, I risk 1/4%. So I don't put more than 1/4% at risk. So I can lose 20 trades. And what have I lost for the day? 4%. All right, sorry, 5%. So I could lose 20 trades in a row and not lose more than 5% of my portfolio. Wow. All right. So risk management is very important, and there's all kinds of courses, there's all kinds of studies, there's all kinds of calculators as to what the best position is for you. But if you've been or you have not been practicing good risk management strategies, now's the time to do that. Now, it's one thing to have a daily, I'm sorry, there's one thing to have a per trade risk. So I'm not going to risk more than 0.25% of my account on any trade. You also need to have a daily risk, because the other day we had a very uncharacteristic day on the Sabre Trading Group. Number one, we couldn't find any really good trades out there. And the 3 or 4 trades that I had set up the night before all failed. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Not never, but it's very rare that I lose 3 trades in a row. What's going on here? Because my system is very risk averse. So why did I lose 3 trades in a row? And I look back, and at midnight the night before, the stimulus bill passed. And so, now all of a sudden the US is going to be printing money to send this $1.8 trillion or trillion. That's the Democrats actually nixed the 1.8 trillion. So the $1 trillion package, we're going to be printing $1 trillion more. Well, what's that going to do to the American dollar? It's going to devalue it. So 2 of my trades were currency trades, and so they failed because the supply and demand no longer mattered. We're now, the whole universe, the whole world is now betting against the dollar. So I was short on 2 trades in the Forex market, and it killed it. And there was another one, I think it was either the S&P or it was oil, one or the other, and that failed too. So I woke up -3 trades, so I'm down 1.5%. And that's my rule. Wow, I lost 3 trades. What's going on here? And then later I found out it was the news. And I was like, oh, good thing I didn't put on any more trades, because right now the market's going wonky. It's like someone threw a boulder into the lake, and the lake is just splashing around, and you don't want to put your canoe in the water, or put your little kid with floaties in the water. If the water's going crazy, you got to wait for that water to chill out. And so if we have 2 consecutive bad days, like something really crazy is going on, what do? Let's just sit back and wait for the water to subside, wait for the waves to stop crashing, wait for the market to start doing what markets do. Buying at wholesale, selling at retail, start using proper supply and demand, and let all this emotion settle down. And so we can't control the market. We can never control what the market's going to do. The only thing in our trading rules that we have full control over is risk. How much money am I willing to put into this trade to be wrong? How much money am I willing to put into the market in order to take advantage of the opportunity when I'm right? And so I can survive to trade another day. All right. So these are some example rules. Rule number 1, I'll risk no more than 1% of my account on any trade. Or you can say a dollar amount. I'm not going to risk more than $50. I'm not going to risk more than $100. My whole trading methodology is make risk 100 to make 300. And then rule number 2, or paragraph number 2, I won't lose any more than 3% of my account on any given day, because something's going wrong. I shouldn't lose more than 3 trades in a row, or if I had 6 trades, I shouldn't lose 4 of those 6 trades, given the statistics and win rate of my current system. And then finally, if I have 2 days in a row, man, something's going on. I need to just sit back and let the market reset, because the market's going crazy and I have no control over that. But what I do have control is risk. And so I'm just going to paper trade. I'm not going to stop trading, but I'm going to be active in the market with funny money, with pretend money, until I see the market is starting to do what markets are supposed to do. Buy at wholesale, sell at retail. All right. So those are just some example rules, some kind of border kind of guide rails. But what do you think you need to do as far as managing your risk? Do you need a dollar amount? Do you need a percentage amount? Have you had a bad day or a bad series of days that have blown out your account, whether it's a real money or a sim? And then what are you going to do to protect yourself when the market is just going totally crazy, totally wonky, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a political unrest, whether it's civic unrest or this or that? And so how are you going to protect yourself? And HJ, yeah, if you don't have the money, you can't play the game. Preserve your capital, preserve your capital, preserve your capital. Absolutely. That's the number 1 goal. And that's the only thing we have control over is our risk. All right. So we're going to do a quick little 2-minute session on this for you to write down and meditate on that. and I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Alrighty. I just got inspired to do a quick little Excel sheet for you guys, just to show the power of the methodology of managing risk and just growing your account, say, by 1% per day. Now, let's say that you had a system that had a 1 out of 3 win rate. All right. So you don't have a great plan. All right. You're just winning 1 out of 3. And if you do 3 trades a day, what does that mean? It means your first trade, you're down 1%. Your second trade, you're down 1%. Your third trade, you're up 3% or more. Right? In fact, this morning I woke up and I saw that there was a trade on the S&P that hit 10-1 last night. I went to bed at around 10:30, and at midnight this level formed, and it was a beautiful, picture perfect trade. But what would have happened if I had a 10-1 trade when my previous 2 were losers? I'm up 8. All right. But if I do sum of those 3 trades, what do we get? We're at +1. So if every day we are able to grow our account by 1%, say you start with $1,000, you're like, oh, wow, I made $10 today. Woohoo. Because I won 1 out of 3 trades. When we manage our risks to 1%, because people are like, man, I can't afford to just live off of $10. I need to make some serious money here if I'm going to replace my income. Well, what happens if you grow your account by 1% every day? Every day, that number you're compounding your account by is growing exponentially. You go from earning $10 per day on an average of 3 trades per day with a 1 out of 3 win rate to, after 70 trading days, and divide that by 5, you're looking at 13 weeks. In 13 weeks, you've doubled your money. What if you doubled your money every 13 weeks? At the end of the year, you have $12,000. At the end of the year, you have a 1,200% return. If every single day you did what you need to do to get what you need to get. Yeah, 100% growth, exactly. You double your account every 70 trading days. And that's only if you got 1 out of 3. And that's only if the winning trades were 3-1. What if you had a 10R day? You basically did 10 days worth of profit on 1 trade. right? Because if you're looking to grow by 1% every day, if you grew by 10%, if you had a 10-hour trade, so that's why risk management is so important. But also never forget the power of compounding. I think it was Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. The miracle of compound interest is what's available to us as traders. And I actually wrote an article about this on TradingView, that supply and buy and hold is dead. It's all about trading. We can't invest anymore. We need to learn how to trade. And I talked about the power of compound interest. So some people get disheartened, like, oh, I don't have a lot of money. I can't be a successful trader. Be patient, be diligent, learn how to do one thing, learn how to do it very well, and then you'll get rewarded. Okay. So that's the whole point of having this plan. If we're managing our risk and maximizing our reward, we're going to constantly see that growth. All right. So the next exercise: when and where will I trade? Now we have to put stuff on the calendar. Okay. We can't just hope that it's going to happen. Now this could be painful because for me to really commit the time that I needed to do things, I had to give some things up. I mentioned earlier, I love movies. I have a great theater in my home, a nice home cinema. Like I have a 144-inch screen with surround sound that'll knock your teeth out. I love movies, but it doesn't pay the bills, right? And I was a Toastmaster. It's an international speaking organization, and I've been a part of this group for I think about 7-8 years. But my group meets in the morning. So I had to give up a couple things that I like to do. And so this is where this first sentence here: I am committed to consistent progress in my trading activity. And Michael Hyatt, one of my favorite motivational speakers, he says, what gets scheduled gets done. So you have to put it on the calendar. And I love this quote. I saw this here on the side: your empire ain't going to build itself without the hustle. And so it's all about us. So it's a great thing that trading is so available to so many people, no matter what your educational background, your financial background, even your criminal background. The market doesn't care. But if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to do what you need to do, you're going to get what you want to get. But it has to go on the calendar. So the second paragraph: I will trade from the hours of X and Y in my home office, turning off all distractions that are not contributing to my trading activities. I got to get accomplishment, not activity. I got to stop being busy, and I got to start being productive. And then what are you going to do? Each day, each week, each X, I will review my trades with my community, with my mentor, with my coach, with my friend, to see how I can continually improve. We're going to sharpen that saw. So I had to lock myself into my office. I had to clear my desk. I had to get rid of the stuff that wasn't contributing to my trading activities. I had to stop going to Toastmasters. So this is, again, part of the sacrifice. Anyone who builds a business, Elon Musk, you watch some of these videos, he's sacrificed. You watch Steve Jobs, there's things he's sacrificed, and all that kind of stuff to accomplish great things. Michael Jordan, to become the best basketball player on the planet, he had to sacrifice. And so for us to become good traders, we got to do consistent activity, and it has to go on the calendar. And so that goes back to Michael Hyatt: what gets scheduled gets done. So maybe we've never looked at our calendar. Maybe we've tried to fit trading into our schedule. Maybe, okay, if I have some time tonight, I'm going to trade. But otherwise, if my friend calls, I'm going to go out and go to the pub, or we're going to go watch a movie, or that kind of thing. You have to get control of your calendar, because your calendar will fill up exponentially if you don't. So it's one of those things where you've heard the phrase, free time or idle hands is in the devil's workshop. When I don't have stuff to do, I don't do good stuff, or if you have a teenage daughter or even a teenage son, and you talk about them going out on the date, there's a phrase that I heard from friends that have kids. They say, nothing good happens after 10 p.m. So those kids have got to be on a schedule to get home by 10 p.m. And another great thing, I know I have to go to bed by midnight if I'm going to wake up at 6:30. I generally only need about 6.5 hours sleep, but I also covet my naps. So I actually fit naps into my schedule to be a productive trader and to be a productive human being, that I'm not, falling asleep at dinner. So what do we have to do to lock in our calendar if we don't currently have a trading schedule along with our life schedule? It's not going to get done. So here's the little exercise. Now we're going to go through when and where will I trade. So we're going to write down and maybe even pull out your calendar and block those times into your calendar where you are going to wake up, you're going to splash water on your face, you're going to do 10 jumping jacks, and then boom, you're going to sit down in your home office, sit down at the kitchen table, sit down in the dining room, sit down upstairs in the spare bedroom where no one can bother you, whatever it might be. When and where are you going to trade? Whether you're still in the learning phase, where you're still got to build that skill to your right, you have a 50% or more win rate, and then, or if you are trading well, what do you need to do the things you need to do because you're not doing the activities? You know, you could have all the great skills in the world, but if you don't trade, you don't make money. And so, number one, I'm going to be, pointing a finger out there, but I've got 3 fingers pointing back at me. When I don't trade, I don't make money. And so there's days I sleep in, there's days I get tired, and days I just like, oh, I'm going to sit here with my cat. And so if it doesn't get on the calendar and I actually get up and do it, it doesn't get done. So when and where will I trade? This is your next activity now for the next 3 minutes, and I'll see you all in 3 minutes. And if you have the time, actually put it on your calendar. 3 mornings a week, 5 a.m., 5 days a week, 4 a.m. What gets scheduled gets done. All righty. Hope that was productive for you guys and gals. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the music selections. And in fact, that's part of the when and where is I actually have a pair of French doors that close my home office. And I use YouTube, and I just basically search for Epic Music 2 Work By. And there's a couple great bands out there. There's the Epic Music channel. There's a band called Two Steps from Hell, which makes these amazing, epic soundtracks. Kind of like all these great action movies, whether it's Armageddon or motivational stuff. And so you got to put your brain and environment into making you consistent, making you consistently healthy, consistently motivated and focused. And especially in those mornings when you're up again by yourself, because trading can be lonely. You need to have something that's going to keep you motivated. All right. So the next one is, how do you stay fit as a fiddle? How do you stay healthy? When you looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was Conan the Barbarian, and then he was the Terminator, and then he became governor. All right. What happened to him? He just shrunk, right? He lost all that massive muscle that he had. So the same thing happens with trading. Is you need to continually grow and improve, continually work out. Just because Arnold got himself in the Conan mode, he's not done, and he can't quit. He has to constantly keep on working out at a high level just to maintain the muscle he has, much less try to grow any new muscle. All right. So the same thing happens. Use it or lose it. And we got to continually grow, continually improve, continue sharpen that saw in our trading skills. So our first priority, as it says right there below the title, first priority is to be consistent, because consistent working out, it's not hitting the bike every week. It's not hitting the treadmill or going jogging twice or 3 times a month that makes you healthy. It's doing a little bit every day. You don't have to bike 20 miles. You don't have to run 5 miles a day. Just doing something consistent, 20 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, that kind of thing. So trading is like the same thing. You got to do something every day. And then when you're consistent, then you can focus on making money. Because now you're doing the consistent things. You're on the road, you're on the bike, you're on the right track to make money. All right. But again, if you just try to trade once a week or a couple times a week, or trying to fit it into your schedule, which was the previous exercise, we can't fit trading into our schedule. We have to be consistent. Just like we eat 3 meals a day. All right. We eat every day. We don't wait 10, 12 days and then just have this gigantic meal and expect it to last us the rest of the week or 2 weeks from now. We have to eat a little bit every day. And that's exactly what trading is like. All right. Now, I love books. I'm a big book guy, particularly the Kindle guy. But my favorite books, and I've talked about this on other articles in TradingView, and also especially during my trading group, is there's 2 books that I have to review them every quarter. All right. And one of them is Price Action Breakdown, which is about supply and demand. And so that shows you why prices move in the markets. And the other is Trading in the Zone, the psychology. How do I keep the discipline? How do I keep the confidence? How do I have that right attitude to do what I need to do to get what I want to get? All right. So one's mechanical, one's psychological. And I have these on Audible. And so every time I'm in the car, every quarter, I'll turn them both on in a row and I'll listen to one. Price Action Breakdown is not Audible because that's very visual. It looks at the charts. It shows you the price action. But Trading in the Zone, I listen to every quarter. Price Action Breakdown, I read every quarter. All right. So that's my fitness schedule. That's my regimen. It's like, all right, I'm going to be on the bike 3 days a week. I'm going to be on the treadmill 2 days a week. And I have a rest day. And then I have, weight training, on Saturday. So you got to have, that full body workout. You got to take care of your psychology, and you got to take care of your mechanics, and you have to put it into practice. So a couple examples here. How am I going to continually grow, continually improve, continually sharpen that blade of my trading skills? And some examples here, I will read or reread a book at least once every 2 months, at least twice. And that's very important. So many people pick up so many books and read it once. And you read it once, especially a book like trading. It's one thing to read a novel, once, and that was a great story. But when you read a book that's going to teach you something profound, like how prices move in the market, the first time just opened your eyes. The second time, it's going to open your mind. You're going to start really thinking about it. The third time, it's really going to open your heart. It's going to get into your system where you can just look at those charts and boom, you're going to see the money flowing in and out of the market every single day, every single hour, every single 15-minute candle, whatever it is you're trading. So that's why it's valuable for books like these, good books, not books that aren't good, but quality books. And these two are my Bible. The Psychology Bible for trading and the Mechanic Bible for trading. And that's why they're so important to me. I have to re-immerse my system into it. So that's my workout. So it's just like hitting the bike or hitting the treadmill. You got to do it regularly. Okay. So I'll review the lessons I learned every quarter. I'll back test the last 24 hours to make every single day. So my morning, before I actually start trading, just like you don't see someone get up to the line of a marathon or get up to the starting line of a Ironman cold. You know, they don't just get out of their car, put on their shoes, and walk up to the front line of the Ironman that they're going to take a 10-mile ride, a 20-mile bike, and then like a 10-mile swim. Just walking right out of the car, they have to warm up. Right. So my warm up routine is that third paragraph. I will back test the last 24 hours worth of trades every morning to practice my system, build up my mental muscles, and warm up before I actually start trading. Because if I start trading cold, I'll often mess up my first couple trades. And it's only after those first couple trades that I'll now I'm warmed up and now I'll start having winning trades. So that's my warm-up routine. Every morning I go through my back testing schedule, and I'll actually show you. This is my back testing schedule for December. You know, so I go back every single day. I'm looking at every single opportunity on all 31 flavors. I call it 31 flavors, the 31 different assets that I trade. And that's how I spend my morning, back testing the last 24 hours. And then at the end of every month, I get to see every opportunity that came up, and I can continue to test and hone and refine my trading system. And that goes back to one of the earlier lessons we did is continually improving our trading system and continually becoming better at our trading system. And then the last example here is I'll join a trading group or community of traders standing on the shoulders of giants as I learn from them how to become competent in my craft. So depending on where you are in your trading journey, where you still need to learn, so you need to continually absorb information, whether they're books, whether they're people, whether they're trading groups, whether they're webinars that you're going to take a 10-hour webinar or a 10-hour class, or if you're experienced, you just got to put that knowledge to use. Now you need to wake up every morning and do what you need to do, whether it's back testing, whether it's front testing, whether it's sim trading, and then also what are those things you're going to do regularly to continually reinforce and reinforce and reinforce the lessons? What books, what podcasts, what resources are going to use to listen to every month, every quarter, or whatever to improve your skills. All right. So this is your weight training. This is your regular diet of continual education, what Tony Robbins calls CANI, C-A-N-I, constant and never-ending improvement. And the Japanese called it Kaizen, and it's how they became one of the greatest manufacturing behemoths on the planet, because every day they look to improve just a little bit, improve just a little bit, improve just a little bit. And that's what some of the best sports teams. The coach didn't say, "Look at these guys and do what they do." The coach says, "Look at what you do, and how can you become 1% better today?" And you do that 364 times, and boom, they're going to be an amazing quarterback, an amazing football player, an amazing basketball star, if they constantly improve and learn and improve and learn and improve. So how will you? This is the next exercise. How will you continually improve, grow, and hone your trading skills? What's your daily, weekly, and monthly diet going to consist of? And we got 4 minutes. All righty. Hate cutting the music off, but it seemed like a good beat to do it. And if anyone has any other books that you would recommend, does anyone have any books that they've found really helped them out? I know we said earlier a couple of y'all had been in here for a couple of years or at least a couple of months. But, like I said, these are my two favorite books. I've had some other books which have been useful, but these are the two that I think encapsulate everything else that are in there. The Intelligent Investor. Okay. Yeah. There's another one, Trading Beyond the Matrix. And of course, I'm a movie guy. And it gives a lot of really good kind of concepts which are similar to Trading in the Zone. Because the Matrix, you had the see beyond the Matrix, take the blue pill or the red pill. And then it just got a little funky. Like in the middle, it got really meta. I guess meta is the right word. It was a little too floofy for me. And he kind of lost me halfway through the book. But that's like, I think, where some books encapsulate, all the ideas of these other books. So Trading in the Zone, Intelligent Investor, that's a great one. Okay. So yeah, in fact, we're here. This is the power of a group. We got almost 30 people here on the webinar. So that collective group think. If there's any other great resources or methodologies or something that you feel like you want to share that's worked for you, then great. Please share it with the group in the chat box. Okay, the next one, this is important because a lot of people want to make money, right? Hey, let's learn how to trade. Let's learn how to make money. But they don't think about how they're going to actually pay yourself, all right? Now, early in your trading career, say if you start with that small amount, like we mentioned, if you start with $1,000, you're not going to pay yourself a salary, say in a month, say day 20. You've made $220. Well, if you've made $220, that's not bad to take a little chunk of change out of there. But what if you just use this as your cash cow that you're going to keep on growing? So you want to feed that cow to the point where it's become like one of those, not just a normal chuck cow or black steer or whatever those name of hamburger meat is, but you want to get that thing nice and fat and marbled like a piece of Wagyu, right? So you want to keep that money in the account. So maybe you'll take $50 off, maybe you'll take half of it, maybe you'll take $100, and every month, give yourself a little bit of a paycheck. So this is the philosophy, or you have to come up with a philosophy. How are you going to pay yourself? Where if you're still in the income building stage, you might want to keep every dollar in your account so you can enjoy every ounce of compounding that you possibly can. Because one of the philosophies is trading is never trade money you can't afford to lose. All right. So you're not putting your life savings into the market. You're not putting the college fund into the market. You just have some extra money. All right. So if you had an extra, in this case, $1,000 to play with, if you lose it, you lose it. I mean, we don't want to lose it because we're going to be using good risk management techniques, right? So we're never going to lose that whole $1,000. We have to make 1,000 bad trades in order to do that. So maybe you're in the income accumulation stage, and so you're going to keep every dollar in there. Or here's a couple examples. I'm going to maintain X amount in my trading account as operational capital. At the end of every month, anything over that is my paycheck. So I know a fellow trader. He has $100,000 in his trading account. He said, that's my operating capital. That's all the money I need to do what I want to do. So if he made if his account's $116,000 at the end of the month, he writes himself a check for $16,000. If it's $140,000, he writes himself a check for $40,000. If it's $105,000, he writes himself a check for $5,000. He just wants to keep $100,000 in that account as operational capital. The second scenario is I'll enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm going to pay myself a third of all my winnings, keeping the remaining in the account to enjoy the effects of compound growth. So this is where you're getting a return on your investment. So say in your first month, if you had $1,000, and at the end of the month on trading day number 20, because you can only trade, there's only 20 trading days inside of a month. You got $1,200. All right. So if you got 220, that equals 220 divided by three, that's $73. So you got $73 that month that you can go out to dinner or take the family out to a movie or, buy a couple trading books or join a membership of some kind, join a gym, or buy a Peloton. And because Peloton's exploding, as you saw that article on TradingView about Peloton, because of everyone's working at home, so everyone needs to work out. So what are you going to do? I'm just going to take a little bit out, and I'm going to let the majority of that, 2/3, stay in there and enjoy the effects of compound growth. A third scenario possibly is I'll trade my IRA, and I'll just take a fixed amount every month as income. So, maybe you'll just withdraw $10,000 a month, and you got to remember your taxes, right? So if you withdraw $10,000 out of your IRA, well, you're going to pay $10,000. You're going to pay $1,000 in penalties if you take it out early, and you'll pay $2,000 to $3,000 in taxes. So your take home is, maybe about $6,000. So I'll trade my IRA and take $10,000 out every month. And again, kind of like that first situation, if you made 15 grand that month, well, you're taking out 10, and 5 stays in there to compound. If you made 30,000 that month, you take out 10, and 20,000 stays in there and continues to build up until you're actually going to start taking out in your retirement years. Okay, so consider, and this is one of the things too about enjoying the fruit of your labor. Even if all you did, say you started off with $200. Say you started with $200. At the end of the month, you got $244. So you're up $44. $80. Oh, no, that's not right. $244. $44. So $15. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that could be 2 rental movies from the iTunes Music Store. That's take the kids out for ice cream. You can get 2 or 3 ice creams at Brewster's or Carvel if you're from my hometown of Brooklyn, New York, things like that. But what it does is it lets you immediately start enjoying the fruit, immediately start saying, wow, this is real. I'm actually following rules, and I'm actually enjoying the fruits of my labor. Now, they're small fruits in the beginning, but there's something about that tangible asset. So when you bite into that ice cream, when you're watching that movie, when you buy that bottle of wine, and you can get a great bottle of wine for $15, you can say, wow, I'm literally enjoying the fruit, grapes for wine, fruit of my labor. All right. So you want to enjoy some of this stuff and get that stimulus response, because we are stimulus response creatures. Going back to one of our original points, everything we do is either to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. And this is part of the pleasure. Let me enjoy some of this stuff here. HJ, great point. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we want to pay ourselves. Now, if you're trading for the future, that's okay. You're keeping every dollar in that account to continue to compound and accumulate, but you still got to do something to make sure you're understanding, wow, I'm actually making progress on here and enjoying yourself. So even if it's just a $1,000, if you made $15,000, just enjoy yourself. All right. So how are you going to pay yourself? This is your time for your next exercise. We have 2 minutes. Enjoy. All righty. Question here from Trading Worship. Great question. And appreciate. Thank you for the thanks about motivation. That's, I just love teaching, but I also love motivating too, because this is exciting stuff. I mean, where else in the world do you get to sit at home, type on a computer, looking at candlesticks, and then making money? I mean, what an amazing skill. And it's not rocket science. It's just doing the work we need to do to get good at anything. Just like my friend's son, who hit a wall, playing basketball, shooting hoops, and it was all in the wrist. All this guy from the NBA, I don't know how much money they paid him, but all this guy from the NBA taught him is just how to change the pattern of his wrist or his fingertips when he would release the ball to get those 3-point shots or those 2-point shots. And it's all in the wrist. And here it is. We literally are typing away using our mouse. It's all in the wrist. It's all finding these patterns to trade at. So thank you for that compliment on motivation. And as far as trading an IRA account, the IRA is a wonderful vehicle. It's probably the only vehicle that Americans have for tax deferment, to be able to make money and not pay taxes on it, or at least minimize the tax burden on that vehicle. So what you get to do is you get to put pre-tax money away, say $15,000 every year, and you can now trade that. So you can trade in a futures IRA, which is what I trade. You can trade a Forex IRA, so you can actually trade. And so you're not paying a broker, you pay a management fee, I think like $200 a year or something like that, depending on the broker. The one I use is Midland, Midland, Midland Trust, and they work with TradeStation. They work with Tradevate. They have a handful of brokers that they work with. But what you do is you just do a rollover. So just like if you worked for company A and you're going to start working for company B, and they also let you have a 401k kind of thing, you can roll over your 401k without a penalty. So you're basically trading in your IRA, but if you withdraw it, you would get a penalty if you're under retirement age. So that's a 10% penalty, and you pay taxes on it. So if you can continually trade your account and build and build and build, great, because you're building that entire sucker out of with no tax burden. But if you take your income and now you've paid taxes on your income and you put it into a cash account, you've paid taxes on that money already. But now anything you make on that in a cash account, say a TradeStation account or an Oanda account, you're paying taxes on your earnings. All right. But that's the beautiful thing about trading income, is that it's actually taxed less than income tax. Because in the United States, at least, income tax can be up to 35%. And so when you're doing investment income, you're only getting taxed about 22%. So you're saving about 30% in taxes. So if you made $100,000 in a cash account in the United States, you'd be paying about $35,000 in taxes. If you made $100,000 in an IRA account and you're withdrawing it, while you're retired, you're only, I'm sorry, if you're trading my brain was messed up here. It's a great thing over here too. And when you're trading as far as income tax, this is where I was going. If you make $100,000 in income, you get charged full tax rate up to 35%. If you trade and make $100,000 trading, you have a tax benefit of only getting charged taxes on long and short-term capital gains. So it's better to be a trader than an employee. All right. Now with the IRA, if you withdraw money out of your IRA, you will pay that 10% penalty, but that basically equivocates what it would have been if you were making income, if you were earning it as regular income. So yeah, it's a 10% penalty, but it's like you were earning income anyway, and you're doing it from home, learning how to trade on your computer instead of working for somebody at a company and all that other stuff. So yeah, great. And you obviously, just depending on where you are in the world or where you are in the country, your tax man or tax lady can help you out with that, because every person's situation might be just a little bit different. All right, great question there. So how will I continually grow, improve, and hone my personal psychology? All right. Now, just like in trading earlier, we have to keep our trading muscles warmed up and fit and constantly stressed so we can constantly grow, because that's how muscles grow, right? You don't grow muscles by lifting up the cat or lifting up a pillow. You grow muscles by ripping and tearing those muscle fibers with a 20 or 30 pound weight. All right. And it's by ripping those muscle fibers that then new muscle fibers go in and grow. All right. So just like back testing every morning, or going through whatever routines we did in the last exercise, for our trading muscles, we need to also work on our mental muscles. So I'm not a huge guy as far as it comes to motivation, like rah rah, kind of thing. There's a lot of motivational people out there. But there are technologies, there are mental technologies, psychological technologies that truly do work. All right. So affirmations is one of them. And part of that thing about being around like-minded people is another one of them. Now, just like those two books, Price Action Breakdown and again, I'm getting tired of Trading in the Zone. Just like those books are very important to me, I need to read them regularly to keep my trading muscles good. These are two of my favorite books as far as keeping my mental muscles good. Now, Miracle Morning is a great book because it goes over the guy that wrote the book Miracle Morning. Has anyone read Miracle Morning or familiar with it? Just get a little thumbs up there, or high five or yes in the chat box, because in fact he just had a movie done, the Miracle Morning movie, which launched I think 2 Sundays ago. And this guy Hal Elrod said, what do successful people do? He looked at all these successful people, and they all say, oh, you got to do X every morning, you got to do Y every morning, you got to do Z every morning. Every morning, people had different things they did, whether they were affirmations or a morning workout or a morning dunk in a freezing shower or a pool, journaling. And he said, they've got all these different things here, but they all do it in the morning. And so he said, well, what if I did all of these things every morning? And so he created the Miracle Morning. And it was 6 things you do every morning. And that was the basis of his book. And then, of course, the classic book, Think and Grow Rich, where Napoleon Hill got hired by Andrew Carnegie to study success. And this was back in the 1920s, right after the Great Depression. And he looked at the common factors of all successful people, whether it was the Rockefellers, whether it was Thomas Edison, whether it was Tesla, all these, famous magnates of the industry, back in the day. And there were common factors. And he said it's the thinking process. It's not do this and get rich. It's think and grow rich. And so that was the profound too. These people, it wasn't about what they did that made them rich. It's how they think. So these psychological technologies, as I like to call them, affirmations being one of them, what are we going to do to continually grow, improve, and hone my personal psychology? You can follow Anthony Robbins. You can follow Hal Elrod and Napoleon Hill. You can get these 2 books. You can get online and listen to Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, some of the amazing, motivational speakers, but that give you the tools and the technology. Because not every day do I want to wake up. Not every day am I all gung-ho. Not every day am I happy. But you got to do something to turbocharge your brain, or it's like those engines that won't start and people throw a little ether in the engine and woof, the engine catches. Or trying to get a tire on the rim and they throw a little ether in there, and woof, the tire inflates. So we need to get our brain to do the same thing. So whether it's a book, whether it's a mentor. I don't want to call him a guru, but a mentor like a Tony Robbins or a Zig Ziglar. Um, Maybe you've already got some that you are familiar with. Maybe you already have some mentors like a Tony Robbins or a Zig Ziglar or whatever. Or maybe you got to find some new ones like Hal Elrod, Napoleon Hill. What are you going to do every day or every week to improve your personal psychology? And here's a couple examples here. So I'll give you guys 2 minutes to figure out and write down and calendar. Hopefully you put those other things on your calendar too, about how you're going to improve your personal psychology, how you're going to learn and grow and keep those mental muscles on par with your technical psychological muscles. All righty. And just to let you know, too, there's plenty of resources to find like-minded people. Facebook is one of them. Obviously, we have a lot of trader groups on Facebook, Forex traders, futures traders, options traders. Meetup is a great one where it's like, if you're not familiar with meetup.com, it's like Facebook for locations. So it's like, hey, let's all meet together, us traders, and meet at this restaurant. Or, hey, let's all meet together, traders, and go to this pizza joint or this Italian restaurant. And you can do it just socially, or you can do it as a thing. We're going to meet together and talk shop. Maybe have a guest speaker, have someone from the group talk about their trading methodology. But that's that whole point about we need to get out of the house. We need to keep our mental muscles straight and talk to people that are like-minded. And that goes along with that prove them wrong poster that I got in my office, where you don't want to hang out with people that you're constantly striving against. You need people that are going to help you thrive and help people that'll help you succeed. Now, in the Miracle Morning book, Hal Elrod has a great quote, and I'm just going to read this here. I know that where I am in my life now is both temporary and exactly where I need to be to learn what I must learn so I can become the person I need to be to create the life I truly want. All right. So I'm going to say that, where I am now as a trader or early in my struggles, it's like, it's both temporary. The struggle is temporary, but it's exactly where I need to be because it's the struggle that makes us grow. Just like if you've ever heard the story about the butterfly, where when the butterfly is coming out of the cocoon, if you try to help that butterfly out, like you just pull him out of the cocoon, he doesn't open his wings. That caterpillar needs to struggle to get the fluid into the wings so it becomes a full-blown butterfly. It's the struggle that helps you become who it is you're looking to become. So the second paragraph, even when life is difficult, especially when life is difficult, the present moment is always an opportunity to learn, grow, become better than you've ever been. So that goes back to the muscle. You're building up that muscle. You're building up the mental muscle, your trading muscles, and you constantly need to strive and push against to tear those muscle fibers in order for those muscles to grow. And then modeling, the third paragraph. Just as others have done, I can turn my adversity into an advantage by accepting all that's out of my control. I can't control the past. I can't control the present. I can't control the future. But what can I control? So that I can give myself the freedom from emotional pain, be at peace, and create the life I truly want. So we need to say, look, the world is what the world is. Life is what life is. But okay, don't make it worse than it is. Just say that this is the way it is, and I'm just going to move forward. Because what's that rock in front of you? It's either going to be a stumbling block or a stepping stone. And we want to take all those challenges and make them stepping stones. All right. Now, I don't know if you've ever done an exercise in affirmations. All right. So again, I've had plenty of experience back in the day with Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar, but these are some affirmations I just created as an example as a trader. I have a morning affirmation and an evening affirmation. And you can either take this verbatim, because again, good artists copy, great artists steal, right? I think it wasn't Van Gogh, but I'm trying to think who it was a famous artist, and George Lucas stole that phrase as well. Good storytellers, borrow, great storytellers steal. Or one I just learned recently, there was a gentleman who was accused of plagiarism. It was the guy that actually wrote the original screenplay or the original movie book, Alien. The classic science fiction horror film that just changed the cinematic world back in 1977 or 1978 when it came out, maybe 1979. And someone accused him of plagiarism or stealing an idea, and from an abstract artist that had this wickedly wacky picture of a worm with teeth and stuff like that. And it's like, I didn't steal from anybody. I stole from everybody, And that's how we become better traders. That's how we become better authors. Pablo Picasso. There you go. Good artists copy, great artists steal. There you go. Good traders copy. Great traders steal. And I've heard it said in different contexts is, I don't want an original thought in my head. I want to see what successful people do and just do exactly what they did. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And so likewise, these affirmations, you can feel free to steal them, copy them, refresh them, personalize them. But say every morning you read this. And when you read an affirmation, again, if you're not familiar with affirmations, you need to read them with emotion, with intensity, and even move your body. So just imagine you're reading this in the morning and reading this at night, and you're moving your body, you're using your emotion. So say every morning you said something like this. Today, I am excited at today's opportunities as a trader as I continually learn, develop, improve my skill set in my daily, consistent, passionate, and exciting activities and opportunities. The endless opportunity stream the market is providing me will give me all the teachable moments I need to help me see the patterns in the market clearer and clearer with every passing day as I move closer and closer to my income goals, my milestones, and the ultimate freedom that my trading habits will bring to reality. All right. So you're using all three of what Tony Robbins calls your modalities. You're using your focus, you're using your physiology, you're using your voice. And by mixing those up, you're basically programming your psychology, programming your nervous system to accept what it is you said as truth. And so what if you said at the end of the day, today was an amazing day as I took one additional step in my learning process of becoming a professional trader. I'm already a better trader than I was when I woke up this morning, and every step I take every day is one step closer to my final goals. I celebrate the wins I experienced today. I embrace the learning processes I experienced with my unsuccessful trades. And as I reflect on the things I've learned in those trades, I look forward to recognizing those unproductive patterns so I can turn today's stumbling blocks into tomorrow's stepping stones. As I prepare to be refreshed and re-energized by tonight's slumber, I will dream of the exciting trading opportunities and lessons I'll learn as I embrace the new day, revived and refreshed. All right. Whew, I got goosebumps saying that last one there about my slumber, dreaming of those exciting trading opportunities, because that's what they are. And your brain, if you've studied affirmations, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you're saying versus something that's real. So you can say, I'm a successful, developing, growing trader. And even if you had a bad day, you're telling yourself a future truth that the body is just going to do. So again, it's not, roo-roo or rah-rah and voodoo and witchcraft. And this is psychology. And so this is just the science of success, the science of personal development. And so these are 2 affirmations I came up for y'all to look at and y'all to embrace. But I want you to write in the next 2 minutes, write an affirmation for yourself. And maybe it's not going to be a morning affirmation. Maybe it's not a evening affirmation. Maybe it's a truth-telling affirmation. Say, maybe in the past, I always thought trading was hard. In the past, I've always struggled. In the past, I never felt like I'm ever going to learn this stuff. But today, I know. And so that's one thing you're doing is you're reprogramming yourself with a new truth. The truth is, I have all the resources I need. The truth is, every day I'm going to learn something new. The truth is, I have all these people, all this technology, all this social technology, whether it's Facebook or TradingView or an online trading group that I can join, that I can be a part of to continually pull me forward step by step by step. So what do you need to hear every morning, every evening, or just every day? And so go ahead and put together an initial affirmation for yourself. What are you going to tell yourself every day, if not every morning and every evening? And feel free to take a screenshot of this if you want to, and you can copy it for later. But write something out of your heart, out of your soul, out of your physiology right now for the next 2 minutes on what the truth is on your trading performance. What is true today that is going to carry you day by day to continue to become better and better, to become more and more successful every day? All right. All righty. Well, good deal. I hope that was very motivating for you, because that is, I think, one of the most important things is to reprogram oneself to become the person they want to be. And it's that self-talk. And there's plenty of movies that you've seen people that have turned the corner once they, decided to tell themselves the truth that, yeah, I can do anything I want. I can become president of the United States, whatever. So y'all are doing great. We're rounding the bend here. And one of the last things is how to track your performance. So, for example, you can log or chart or document your trades in a spreadsheet, in Evernote, in PowerPoint, and whatever. But you want to track your win rate. You want to track your R, your return rate, and your efficiency. And in trading in the zone, efficiency is basically, did I follow my plan? Because that helps you determine, being an emotional trader, where I get out and get in for emotional reasons, fear and greed, or did I follow my plan to the letter? And if you don't follow your plan, that's the sin of trading. It's not having a losing trade is bad. It's, did you break your rules? And so this is how we continually sharpen and hone our performance to the point that we can reach our goal, whether it's retiring, quitting a job, replacing an income, and stuff like that. And there's some great utilities out there that can kind of automate this for you. TraderSync and MyFXBook, they can connect to certain brokerages. But one of my favorites is the TJS, the Trading Journal Spreadsheet. And you have to manually enter the data. And there's something about manually entering the data that it helps connect you to your trading activity. I'm not fond of the disconnect that you get with some of these automated trade journaling systems. It's just like writing. A lot of technology people, myself included, have gone back to paper journals as far as like journaling or diaries and writing stuff down, or your calendar, even a paper calendar, because there's something about the kinesthetic act of writing that makes it more real. And so the same thing goes with your trading journal. So how will you track your performance? Do you currently use a spreadsheet? Did you make one up yourself? I offer 2 spreadsheets on my website, on the Buy Me a Coffee website, for tracking or backtesting your Forex trades or your futures trades. So that's a way to do it. Or you can just create your own, because all you need is just a couple columns. You know, what did you trade? What date did you get in and time you get in? What date and time did you get out? Did you go long or short? And then in the end, what was your return? And then based on your return, what would your account look like? So if you started with say a 0.25% and you constantly invested your money, or if you used a fixed dollar amount, what would your trading performance look like? How am I going to track my performance? Okay. So I'll put this down to 1 minute, not 2 minutes, but choose something right now to decide, all right, this is how I'm going to track my performance if you haven't tracked your performance, because you need to know your win rate. You need to know if your system gives you at least a 50% win rate. You need to know your rate of return. If you're getting a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, or a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, are you constantly moving forward? And have I followed all my rules? So that's what I actually had on these columns here, were, would I have, if I followed all my rules, would I get the results that I'm looking for? And I have to answer yes to all of those questions, and so that's where you're soul searching at the end of every trade is, did I follow my rules? Did I follow my system? Was I as efficient as I need to be? All right. So I'm going to give us just 1 minute for this, and go ahead and take care of that in your journal now, and I'll see you in a minute. Okie dokie. Good deal. Yeah, and that's the mechanics of trading too. So you get the psychological, but then there's the mechanical, where you really need to track yourself. The next thing is very important, and I learned this from my experience with Toastmasters, is we got to celebrate your successes. And so many times, just like earlier, HJ had said, he often forgets or ignores paying himself. And so we need to get these little rewards and celebrate our little wins. And there's a system of rewarding called gamification. And just like if you've ever seen like those Dungeons and Dragons games and things like that, like, oh, now the wizard has X amount of power points. Oh, now the wizard now can say these spells. Oh, and now the dwarf gets a bigger battle axe. Whatever those things are. It's called gamification. So as you progress throughout the game, you get bigger and better powers and bigger and better features and things like that. So you want to reward yourself. This is that positive thing. What am I looking forward to? Just like those things we're looking to get away from that we talked about earlier. And don't make these things that are going to be impossible. Like, all right, I'm gonna give myself a nice reward when I make my first $100,000. Like, no. After my first winning live trade, ring the bell. Do a happy dance. In fact, I installed a bell, like a ship's bell, a big brass bell, on my shelf. So I just have to reach over to the left and my wife knows we just made some money today. There's something stimulating about that. Like that stimulus response, just like Pavlov's dog. When you ring the bell, the dog starts to salivate because he knows a reward is coming. And if you don't have a bell, do a happy dance. Make up your own little happy dance. Boom, I just won a trade. Or do a power move of some kind. Tony Robbins with his power moves. Just do something to celebrate. What if you have your first green day? Go get some ice cream with the kids. What if you make your first $100 trade? Go have a date night. What if you made your first $1,000 trade? Pay something off and frame the invoice. Get your electric bill or get your mortgage or get your car payment, put it in a frame and say paid for by a bunch of novice traders. So you look at the what do you call it? The zero sum game. Every time somebody makes money in the market, somebody lost money in the market. So you can say, thank you, anonymous trader, for paying my car payment. So enjoy that. I had a great week today. Oh, that's a great phrase I learned from a friend of mine. If you get a 5R trade, but if your goal is to grow by 1% per day and you have a 5R trade, you basically made 5 days worth of money in one trade. You can tell yourself, man, I had a good week today. And your friends will be like, what? You made 5 days worth of money in one day. So what do? Go to the steakhouse. I had a good month today. What if you had a 20-to-1 trade, which they happen? They happen, or you might have 110-to-1 and 2 5-to-1s. So you basically gave yourself 20 days worth of income in one day. Schedule a weekend getaway, and then what if you had a good quarter today? Poof, week's vacation. So make these little things that you can celebrate constantly. Don't wait until, well, when I have that big thing, then I'm going to do it. So what are some things you'll do? And you could use these same milestones. And, whether it's $100 day, $1,000 day, a 5R day, a 20R day, what kind of ways are you going to reward yourself and look forward to it? But do something that's very simple. Every time you win a trade, figure out something to do because you need to celebrate every winning trade you've got. And again, I appreciate everyone for hanging in there the way we have. And so I'm going to cut this down to 2 minutes instead of 4 minutes. And go ahead and write down some ways that you'll reward yourself to build up those wins, to build up the success and make you look forward to ringing that bell or doing the happy dance or whatever it is you're going to do to reward yourself. All righty. Now, we've gone through a lot of soul searching. We've gone through a lot of mechanics. We've gone through a lot of what it is to take to be a profitable trader. But action builds momentum. And one of the greatest quotes I ever heard that I took from Tony Robbins was never leave the sight of a goal without first taking some form of positive action towards its attainment. Right now, take a moment to define the first steps you must take to achieve some goal. What can you do today to move forward? And one thing that I loved, he had this great 3-part quote. If you think about it, it's a dream. If you write it down, it's a plan. But if you put it on the calendar, it becomes reality. All right. So we all dream. We'd love to make a 6-figure income. We'd love to be our own boss. We'd love to, find the man or woman of our dreams. But it doesn't just happen by itself. You got to figure out what you need to do to get there. But then you also need to put it on the calendar to make it happen. So what do you have to do this afternoon or this evening? What do you have to do tomorrow morning? What do you have to do next week after Christmas? Do you need to open up that trading account? Do you need to transfer money into the bank? Do you need to transfer money out of the bank? Maybe you've been blowing your account, blowing money away, and you just need to tell you what, I need to just move that money back into my savings account so I can't screw it up. And I'm going to trade in simulator mode and paper trade on TradingView for the next 90 days. But put together 5 or 6 actions that you can just put on the calendar, like Tuesday, call my CPA. Wednesday, open up that other account. Thursday, sign up to a pro account on TradingView. Monday, join the Sabre Trading Group. Whatever it might be. What's the things you need to do? But you can have to put it on the calendar. And so it could be wake up at 4 a.m. and do my miracle morning. Whatever it is, when you put it on the calendar, it becomes real. And that's amazing how that really happens. And just want to keep it on when we get done today, we don't want to take all the stuff you've been writing down and just close that notebook and put it on a shelf or keep it on your desk or stick it in your backpack. Put something on the calendar from all the stuff we've done. Put 5 or 6 things on your calendar that you need to do to move forward. All right. And it could be getting that frame in anticipation of paying that bill. So whatever those things are, put something on the calendar to move you one step forward to your goal, especially the fact that it is Christmas weekend. All right, Christmas week. So I'll give you 90 seconds for this one. Whoops. There you go. All righty, good deal. Hope you guys are filling up your calendars. My calendar is insane. I literally have family stuff on my calendar, trading stuff on my calendar, the seminar stuff on my calendar, workout stuff on my calendar, and it's sometimes a hard time to figure out when to get time. But your time is your time. Your time is the most the greatest thing, if you should covet anything in your life, it should be your time. We're not supposed to covet our neighbor's this or neighbor's that, neighbor's wife, neighbor's money. But we gotta covet our time, if anything, and make sure it's very valuable. All right. So one of the last parts about psychology, and this is an offline exercise, there's this thing called the rocking chair test. And you got to really put yourself again into that psychology. Think of yourself 5 years from now. What if you followed everything we said we're going to do today for the next 5 years? What if we did it for the next 12 months, but then 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30? So however old you are, how long is it going to be till you're sitting in front of your rocking chair? And if you did everything we say we're going to do, wow, which rocking chair are you going to be sitting in? Or which park bench or front porch are you going to be sitting on, saying that you've accomplished everything? Versus what if you say, I'll do this after Christmas. Tell you what, I mean, my birthday is coming up in January. I'll do this in February. We have this anniversary trip coming up, and we got family coming over. Or the boss has me on this really bad project. I'll do it in March. I'll start in the second quarter. I promise. I'll start in the second quarter. And life becomes a whole series of tomorrows. And I should have done it. But why must we stick to and succeed with our plan? All right? Because ultimately, that last quote there, the alternative is unthinkable. I am terrified. Remember that image will actually do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. It would terrify me to come to the end of my life and look back at all the time I squandered, the resources I squandered, the money I let just sit in a bank account. Kind of like the parable of the talents. If I just let my money sit in a savings account or in an IRA sitting there doing nothing versus, you wicked and lazy servant, why didn't you at least put the money in something interest bearing? So the alternative is unthinkable. And there's a couple of good YouTube videos on this psychology, but really dig down deep again and put yourself into that psychology, the physiology, and the thoughts of what would it be like if I didn't do what I said I was going to do? Man, what a failure. Man, what a squander, what a waste of time and a waste of resources versus, wow, what a blessing it's been since I had all these wonderful resources, all these wonderful mentors, all these wonderful teachers, all these wonderful books, all these wonderful tools to pull money out of the market every single day. It'll be worth it. And I love that middle quote, because I choose to. It's one of my favorite quotes in The Matrix, where Neo is fighting with Mr. Smith. And at the end, Mr. Smith, he's beating Neo down, and Neo keeps getting up, and he's like, why, Mr. Anderson, why do you keep getting up? Why? And then Neo just looks at him in the face and says, because I choose to. And why do we get up every day to trade? Why do we get up after a losing day? Why do we get up after a losing trade, a losing attitude from our friends who put us down, our family that puts us down? Because I choose to. And ultimately, because it's going to be worth it. This goes back to psychology. All righty. And I can't help but to quote Steve Jobs, say one more thing. All right. I touched on it earlier, that there's a big difference between activity versus achievement. So we can stay busy. I mean, I could back test all day long, but I need to actually get in the market and put some money in the market and put this plan into action. So I need to have achievement versus activity. And I'm a big planner nut. I'm a big motivation nut. I'm a big time management nut. I've been for, again, as long as I've been, an adult, starting with Tony Robbins again, and all these other guys. But one of the latest, greatest tools I've discovered in the last 2 years is Michael Hyatt. And I used a quote of his earlier. And he has this tool called the Full Focus Planner. And it is a very great tool. Again, it's paper-based. So again, a lot of people using the kinesthetic art of putting the physical pen to physical paper, where you have what he calls the big three. What are the big three things I need to do this quarter? What are the big three things I need to do this week? What are the big three things I need to do today? And what are the big three goals I'm looking to achieve within the next year? And every quarter they send you a new planner, because it's just a quarterly planner. And it's just a great tool that we can take everything we've learned today. We talk about, put it on the calendar, schedule it so it gets done. And you can map out the next quarter worth of stuff. So not that you have to get this. I just recommend it because I love it. I live by it. I carry it around. I look like a goofball, or feel like a goofball sometimes because I'm carrying this thing around all the time. But it's just an amazing tool. And you can click on that button if you go to fullfocusplanner.com and watch the video, see the philosophy behind it. But just like the philosophy of having a trading plan and working the plan or planning the work, this is a tool that helps you work the plan where you actually put it on the calendar. And I like to say that I do all my planning on paper, but I do my scheduling digitally. So my iCloud or my Apple calendar, my iPhone calendar, my iPad calendar, that's just got the items on the calendar, but I've got to create my plan on paper. So just like when we started today's session, I said, get out your composition notebook, get out your loose leaf journal, get out, whatever, paper. And so this is just an amazing tool. But anywho, the philosophy behind the Full Focus Planner is not just about, doing all the things on your to-do list. It's doing the important things on your to-do list. So that's something that's totally unrelated to trading, totally unrelated to, anything as far as, what I do. But it's just one of the greatest tools I like to use in my daily life. It helps me with my family goals, my trading goals, my personal goals, my fitness goals, my writing goals, and all that kind of stuff. So the 5 different things I'm looking at doing every day, all overall in my life, it's just a great tool. So whether you use a Franklin planner, whether you use something you bought off of Etsy, because a lot of people make planners for different types of people, different lifestyles, this is just a great tool that I love using. So as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that. I can't believe, holy cow, you've stuck with it. It's been 2.5 hours. And thank you, HJ. This was a great session. I hope this was helpful to everybody. I hope y'all wrote down a lot. And I hope you really take all this information that we've done, all this soul searching, all this technology, and put it into practice. Absolutely. Take our dreams and take these dreams and turn into a plan. Take these plans and put into actionable items. Take these actionable items and start surrounding yourself with like-minded people, whether it's the TradingView community, whether it's a trading group like the one I run, whether it's a community of people that you find in your local area using meetup.com, or maybe even have an online trading academy center near you, and you could find like-minded traders and so on. But I appreciate all your time, and I look forward to seeing and hearing some great results. If this was helpful, feel free to buy me a coffee. I didn't do this for any monetary return, but I certainly appreciate hearing back. And always taking somebody out for a drink is a great thing. Also, leave me a message. One of the unfortunate things about these streams is that once the stream is over, there is no more adding comments. And Trading Worship, yes, this seminar will be recorded permanently under my streams. So if you ever wanted to watch this again, and again, repetition is the mother of skill, right? That's why we keep trading over and over, or writing over and over, building up that skill. So feel free to watch this seminar again, this webinar again. But it will be under my profile. So OCaptain. So there's the link at the bottom of the screen there, tradingview.com/u/OCaptain. Same place you came here to watch it. Go to the same place and watch it again. But it won't be under live webinars. It will be under live streams, upcoming streams. It'll be under past streams. Okay. And if you guys did want to hang out with me some more, me and my crew of the HMS Opportunity, I told you that we trade like a pirate, are also available to learn some more information about under my profile. And I would love to continue this relationship. I'd love to continue to help everybody make 2021 an awesome year. And it's been a great end of the month. We've had a number of students, a number of members of our group just leave some great testimonials, great trading examples that they've done this week. And here it is, the slowest week of the year. You think it's Christmas week. Oh, the markets are slow. Oh, the volume is down. Oh, there's not going to be a lot of opportunities. And we had a 10-to-1 trade. We had a 5-to-1 trade. We had 4 other successful trades. There's opportunity every day of the week, because every day of the week the markets are moving. All right. But I hope that everything you wrote down, I hope you take it to heart. I hope you put it into action. I hope you put it on your calendars. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the new year making some awesome trades here in the TradingView community as we continue to post ideas And maybe one day you'll have your own live streams and so on. So Trez, I like to say at the end of all my articles, trade safe, trade well, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the new year. And if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to stay here as long as we need to. I'm not going anywhere for the next 30 minutes. But if you want to, I know we had a couple off-topic questions. Yeah, there was one off-topic question earlier. There was one gentleman. Let me go back to the beginning of the stream. What do I think about Bitcoin? Okay, now that's interesting because someone in one of the streams, or maybe it's a YouTube video, maybe it's one of the YouTube channels that I look at, they had some kind of contest. And if you can guess where Bitcoin is going to be at the end of 2021, it's they'll give you a Bitcoin or something. I forget what the prize was, but the strategies that we look at, I don't try to guess or hypothesize or prognosticate where anything is. We just look at the charts, and the charts tell us exactly where the opportunity is. And so what we teach at Sabre Trading Systems is let the charts tell you where the money flow, and we follow the institutional trading. So Mr. Tree, what is the best strategy to trade right now? I think the best strategy to trade 24 hours a day, 255 days a year that the market is open is supply and demand. We literally are looking on these price charts. We're looking for where institutions are buying and where institutions are selling, and we just follow the money. So, great example. I should actually show you. Great example right here, where we see an institutional buy order drive price up, we just go ahead and follow the money. And if there's still more institutional orders at that level, we'll go ahead and follow it along. Now, there's certainly more context to that. In fact, the S&P trade that happened this morning, let's go ahead and go to this morning. Whoop, refresh. This was a great trade. It came up right at midnight last night. So at midnight last night, the S&P was going up, it paused and had an explosive move that broke past another level of supply. So that indicated there were probably some institutional orders sitting right there. And at 2:30 in the morning, price came back in and boom, made a 10-to-1 trade in about 2 hours, or just under 2 hours, 2:15 a.m. And it entered at 12:30. So 1:30, 2:15, yeah, an hour and 45 minutes. All right. And these trades happen all the time, 24 hours a day, 255 days a year, 255 trading days a year. So to answer again, Mr. Tree, the best strategy to trade is the one that works. And in my heart, it's supply and demand. And so I've got my own strategy, which I call Sabre, which I basically make the philosophy trade like a pirate. And that's what our members of our crew all trade. But there are a number of supply and demand strategies out there. Again, going back to, let me go back to an earlier slide when we were talking about books, that this book, Price Action Breakdown. Price Action Breakdown is a great book. It's a very technical book. It's a very thick book in terms of the deep knowledge. It's not a very thick book in terms of how many pages it is, but it makes you do a lot of work because the author will, write 2 or 3 pages, throw a couple charts and say, okay, put this book down and go look for 20 setups that match this price pattern. And then you read a little bit more. Okay, put this book down and go look for 20 setups that match this price pattern. And Mr. Tree, that's exactly what we teach. We look at supply and demand on the charts. So the thing is, what's a real level of supply and demand? So just because you see an explosive move in price doesn't mean that there's going to be any leftover trades there or leftover orders there. So it's not something you can just learn, quickly in a day. But what happens is institutionals place orders that cause explosive moves in price. And we have to figure out, is there still a demand for that product at that price? And then lo and behold, in this example, boom, there was. All right. But I'll point you to, let me actually point you to a webinar, because someone asked earlier whether this webinar was going to be recorded. If you go to my profile and you go back to my recent streams, so click on streams and go to recent, here's a whole seminar for you. Let's learn supply and demand. Okay. So that'd be a great place for you to start. And we say why supply and demand works in the financial markets, just like supply and demand works in the automotive market, the electronics market, the computer market, the whatever, the feminine products market, the baby products market, the candy market, and prices move based on supply and demand. When there's a demand for something, prices go up. When there's an oversupply of something, like right now, Christmas stuff is you're gonna start seeing the price for Christmas stuff to go down because these retailers want to get it off their shelves. They have a big supply of Christmas stuff, but now everyone's got their tree up. Tomorrow's Christmas. They got to get this stuff off their shelves. So there's a big supply, so they're dropping prices, and so you could just stock up on stuff for next year. Yeah. So great, Mr. Tree. So yeah, absolutely. Feel free to go ahead and watch those. And yeah, and unfortunately, since I'm going to put a feature request in to TradingView, that it would be nice if we still had a comments section, because once the stream is over, we can't continue leaving comments like we do here, like you just did here live. So it kind of closes the conversation. But if there's anything you'd like to continue the conversation on, feel free to go to the link that I have here at the end of this seminar, because I can stay in touch with people, or just go right to my profile on TradingView and send me a message. I'm very responsive. I trade every day in the mornings from 6 to 11 a.m. And a lot of times I check in multiple times during the day on that. And I would love to stay in touch with anybody who is interested. All right. So looks like that's about it. So trade safe again and trade well. Have a wonderful Christmas, and let's make 2020 an awesome year. Take care.